Welcome to Soul House Yoga Retreat, Northern Maine YouTube channel. Actually sitting in my New York City apartment studio where I sometimes record, and I haven't recorded in a while. And so I thought that we would do a short meditation in these really stimulating times that we're living in to cut off the gates. What are the gates? The gates are the senses. There is a concept in yoga called pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the senses. So I always say that yoga, like life, is about polarity. I think on one level, when you do yoga, your senses get more enhanced. So you're more sensitive to a certain degree. And if that is the case, and even if it isn't the case, there's a lot of stress out there for many these days. And so this little practice is very good for calming the mind and stress reduction. It's also said to be really good for tinnitus, the ringing of the ear, and vertigo. And so let's look at this. How do we close off the gates? I've actually heard of a variety of ways to play around with the fingers here. So you can do that on your own. But the basics, let's go with this, is that we take the index fingers over the eyes, the middle finger over the nose, and the ring finger over your mouth. And then the ears are covered by your thumbs, right? Another way to do it is to pull down the forehead, use the middle finger for your eyes, the ring finger for your nose, and the little pinky for your mouth. So you can decide how you want to do that. Also, in researching this, I had learned this with breath retention originally, which is you hold the breath in, you hold the breath out. But then I did a practice with someone who said for us to do this and breathe in it. And I'm still learning 50 plus years into yoga. There's just so much to learn. So let me just say, as long as you're not harming yourself, nothing is right or wrong, but you want the effect, right? So let's do this first with breath retention. Okay, you're going to take a nice inhale through your nose. You're going to take a nice exhale. Good. Let's try to set the hands up now so you get the idea. So now you got your breath awareness, and you're going to take your hands over your index finger over your eyes, middle finger over your nose, and ring finger over your mouth. Taking the thumbs to the ears. If you want to draw the brow down, you can do a little bit different. Index finger to the brow, above the forehead, middle finger to the eye, ring finger to the nostrils, and little pinky finger to the mouth. You can play with that a little bit. We're going to do it once with the breath held in, once with the breath held out. And then what I'm not used to is breathing with it, because I'm used to cutting off the gates or closing off the gates. That's that withdrawal of the senses, but we'll try that a little bit. So first, let's do inhale, hold, then we'll do exhale, hold. And here we go. So everybody take a nice inhale. Set your hand position, press in enough to cut off your senses. Hold the breath in. And release. And breathe out. If you can hear me, because you're cutting off your senses, breathe out and hold the breath out. Breathe in and release. So you'd want to repeat this a few times, not a lot of times. You could decide if you wanted to do both inhale, hold, exhale, hold. There's advantages and disadvantages to both, and don't want to get too complicated here, but when you hold the breath in, you're bringing in energy. When you hold the breath out, you're releasing stress, tension, anxiety, worry, things like that. And you never want to hold your breath in or out until you're gasping in either direction. For some people, holding the breath out is more challenging. That's because they're not used to doing that. They hold the breath or breathe in more than they breathe out. And it's very useful to remember that the exhale is part of your breath, right? It's all part of your breath. Let's do it one more time, just breathing gently through your nose and pressing gently on the nostrils while your eyes are shut down, while your mouth is closed, while your ears are shut off. And that will be our final approach to this today. Okay, so go ahead and place whatever you'd like over your eyes. And I would recommend not too hard of pressure on the nostrils, but you want to close off the senses, right? Close off the ears and close off the mouth, and then breathe gently through your nose with your fingers still gently on the nostrils. Release. Good. You don't want to press too hard on your eyes because it might be a little bit strange afterwards. My eyes feel a little bit blurry, but that will come back. It's like if you have an eye pillow directly on your eyes, sometimes that happens. So this is a very useful practice for calming the mind, de-stressing, and again, for some of that tinnitus, vertigo, and just generally taking us away from the world, right? Withdrawal of the senses, pratyahara. All right, I hope this was helpful. And every time I think of something to put up here, I do. This came to me recently because I feel like we're living in pretty sped up times. Lastly, what I want to say is when I did do it with the breathing, it was so interesting. Even though you're withdrawing your senses, when you do start to breathe and withdrawing the senses, you hear how strong your breath is. Even that quiet breath that I was doing was very strong inside. That is the ocean of the breath, the tide of the breath that serves us all the time, especially when we not manipulate it, but learn to work with it in these practices. I don't like the word manipulation too much for these practices. So we learn to work with the breath. All right, so I hope this made you feel a little more peaceful. Please continue to practice it without me talking you through it. Just do it and let that help you de-stress and feel calmer. Have a great day.